Welcome to Shawnee Union. I'm Dan and this is focus number 4. This is kind of like a mini, maybe vlogish type video where I just talk about things I'm into, reading and kind of little stories. I've been away on vacation for the last couple weeks, so there hasn't been a video for about 3 weeks, so I'm really excited to do this video. I did actually do a staycation in Austin, Texas, and then went down to San Antonio. The camera I used for most of the trip was an Olympus Stylus Epic, and sadly it died on the trip, so the rewind mechanism broke. I'll do a kind of a reenactment of how I had to grab the film out of it, but it was not very fun. I had to pull the film out of it, out of the camera in a shower, and then this camera is pretty much dead. So an issue with electronic cameras like this, and especially point and shoot cameras, is when the electronics go bad, it becomes really cost inefficient to fix them. So they kind of become bricks. And I always knew that about these type of cameras, but I've never had a stylus die on me. The rewind mechanism broke, and the camera could be fixable, but it may not be worth it. I only got it for $20, and it'd probably be 50-ish or more to repair. So may have to let this guy go. And I'm sad to do it. I really love this camera, but I think if I had to redo it, I would just bring a rangefinder that was pretty small, or just my Rolly that's really small that can fit in my pocket as well. Totally fine, totally fully manual, and I don't have to worry about electronics. But these cameras are just so much fun on trips like that, and I'll put up some of the pictures I really liked from the trip. You can go around, shoot, not think about it too much, and if you have color film, things turn out great. They were designed to use with color film, and they're designed for that type of thing. So sad to see this guy go. So what am I reading lately? A lot of books I've been picking up. I think the more books you buy, the more books you buy. So it becomes like a kind of a little bit of a habit. The one I really like right now is Richard Rinaldi, Touching Strangers. So Richard Rinaldi, portrait photographer. I think he does a lot of stuff, but he got an 8x10 camera, got 2 strangers, and asked them to physically touch each other. Some of the results are really interesting. Sometimes you can't tell that people are strangers, but you know it in the background. So a really cool book, and I hope you guys can get it for a good price. I got it for like 14 bucks on Amazon. There's some really low price copies there. The one issue with Amazon, if you buy books on there, the shipping can take a really long time, so be aware of that. But Richard Rinaldi, Touching Strangers, highly, highly recommend this book. 3 other books I picked up. Walker Evans, American Photographs, really influential book. He influenced Stephen Shore a lot, and he took black and white imagery during the Great Depression, and he was a part of the FSA movement. I think it's Farm Security Administration. Really great black and white photographs of America during the Great Depression, showing, you know, the hard and rough part of the Great Depression and what it did to farmers. Really influential photography though. And another book by another one of his contemporaries is Dorothy Lang, Photographs of a Lifetime, an Aperture Monograph. This is a library copy, so there's a really cool library bookstore near my house, and you can get really great copies of books for really cheap. Got another one there show as well, but she's mainly famous for the migrant mother image, and she did a lot of great stuff outside of that. And I got this book to pick up to learn more about her story and who Dorothy Lang was, because she had a very long career and a very respectable career, and she was, you know, just a pioneer of her time, and she took really amazing pictures. Lastly, Alex Webb, Istanbul, City of 100 Names. Alex Webb is a Magnum photographer, does street photography. His thing is he does crazy amounts of layers and characters and light and shadows in his images. If you ever see his imagery, it's really noticeable. And a lot of people, I think, copy it now, because I see a lot of his influences in younger street photographers, but he kind of really took that style and owned it. And he shot I think he shot Kodachrome for a really long period of time. Now he shoots digital Leica, but a really amazing book if you're into street photography. Highly recommend it. And then he also has a monograph, I believe by Aperture 2, that's very, very good. I'll link to all these books in the descriptions, and if you go through and purchase them or look at them, I do get a kickback. But hopefully they're great. You know, I highly recommend all these books, so if you get any of them, they're going to be great. So I had a couple of viewer questions, and one was from EC Harvard, and I made a video on top 5 Leica lenses under $500, or top Leica lenses under $500, and it was a Jupiter 8 Canon lens, a Leica lens, and then another Leica lens, the Minolta rocker lens. And he asked me which one did I keep or what I'm going to do with them, and I'm actually going to get rid of the Minolta 40mm lens. Since my camera doesn't have 40mm sight lines, it becomes really annoying. So once I was able to get a 50mm lens, I'm probably going to get rid of that one. And the Summicron DR, which I had, which was the sharpest lens by far, I'm going to keep that one, do some photography with that, especially on the tattoo stuff and some other stuff. And then I'm going to keep the Canon 50mm 1.82. I think That one is probably my favorite. So you asked me which one's my favorite. That one's my favorite. That one's the best for $100, and you can have that close of quality to Leica. Really can't beat it. But I think the big takeaway I'd rather have people get is if you have a camera with the 50mm 1.8 lens and it's, you know, Pentax, Canon, Nikon, Olympus, even my Nolta, that's great. You don't need much other gear. If you want a 35, get a 35. If you want a 135, get a 135. But if you have a 50, you can pretty much do everything and just get out and shoot. Like, I think even I do to some degree try to like nitpick between lenses and things like that. It's not a huge deal. And when I finished that video, I was even more on that side of get something decent and just start taking pictures. I think the act of taking pictures, getting out there, doing a project, working at it is so much more important than getting a lens. In that video, I looked at like a $20 lens versus a $500 lens. Differences were not that huge. So get a decent 50mm f1.8, a film camera you like, or a digital camera, and just go out and shoot. That's way more important than any kind of gear you're gonna get. So I know it's, you know, my channel, I look at photography and do that type of thing all the time, or look at cameras and compare them, but that's the honest truth. I think get out there and shoot. I don't know how else, I don't know what other way to say it. So videos in the upcoming future, I have 3 videos I have lined up. One on shift lenses, so I did one on tilt lenses, and I'm gonna do one on a shift adapter or a shift lens, different type of effect. You can use it in a lot of different ways, and it's a cool effect too. I like tilt more, but shift is equally important. Also one on 5 Nikon, on my top 5 vintage Nikon lenses. If you don't know, I shoot a lot of my videos with Nikon lenses because I like the look it gives, and also old Nikon lenses are pretty sweet. For the price, they're pretty amazing and they get really great images. So I'll put my top 5 there, and then a video on the gear I use. So Eric Harvard also had that question, you know, what kind of gear are you using to do these videos? I use pretty cheap gear, except for audio. It's audio stuff is a little bit expensive, but the gear itself is pretty cheap. And then I'll do the bare bones, like dirt cheap version, which is probably just gonna be your phone and a good mic. That one, if you have that kit, you can probably make videos like, to the quality I make with, you know, hundreds of more dollars of gear. But when it comes to that stuff, just start with what you have. But you can make videos like this on a very small budget, and I'll show you guys how to do it. So hope you guys enjoyed that video. If you have any questions or you want me to cover something in later videos, please let me know. If you want me to look at the camera, or you want me to explain something, please let me know in the comments. So I hope you guys enjoyed that, and I will be back again hopefully next week. Probably next week. Thank you guys. See ya. Yeah. 1 take, 2 takes.